What's going on, guys? It's your boy John Lee. We out here again talking into a camera, hoping to bring you guys something valuable in your life in regards to personal development, hoping to bring you guys some sort of value, some sort of positivity to your day. And today we're going to be talking about a book, mainly because of the fact that this has been one of my favorite reads so far. I've been reading this for the past few weeks and I haven't been as diligent as I should be because I'm not even halfway through. I honestly have not been reading too much, but I gotta pick it back up. But it's a book called Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results, but it's called Atomic Habits, and it's by a man named James Clear. And big shout out to my mom first off, because she's the one that got me this book. She realized that I really enjoy personal development, and that's one of my favorite things. And so she got me this book, which is just chock full of personal development tips and tricks and just like processes that will really help someone. And so I wanted to share this with you guys just in case you haven't read it or maybe you're struggling. The main topic that I'm talking about today will be about goals, right? So how many times have you set up a goal but never really achieved it, never really accomplished that goal, never really reached what you set out to? This is the goal that you wanted, this is where you're at. After X amount of time that you put on yourself, you wanted to be here, but you didn't make it, right? How many times has that happened to you? Because it's happened to me a whole heck of a lot. And I think this book at the very beginning goes over 4 really big tips on how we can go about goals and why goals and goal setting might not be the best method for you to achieve your true potential. And at the very end, I'll give you guys my secret tip that I've been working on for the past half year or so that's really helped me grow and really helped me progress with achieving any of the goals or expectations that I've set for myself. So let's get right into it. So first tip is the idea that winners and losers, they both have the same goal. Now think about it, right? So winners and losers, people who achieve their goals, who haven't achieved their goals, they all have the same goal set at the very beginning of their process, right? So let's put that into perspective. Let's say 2 people are trying to read 1 book every single week for the year of 2020. Now at the end of 2020, when they go to reevaluate this, one of them has achieved 52 books and the other person has not achieved 52 books, right? Now they both had the same goals, right? So why is it that both of them didn't successfully reach their goal? So that's one big issue with goal setting, is that no matter how you look at it, the people who have succeeded and people who haven't, they have the same goals. So that can't really be the differentiator in why 2 people can't achieve that goal, right? There has to be something else. And we are going to talk about systems and trying to change your systems rather than focusing so much on setting goals. The second point that is made is the fact that when you achieve your goals, it's just a momentary change, right? It's not everlasting. Say your room is dirty, right? And your goal is to clean that room. All right, maybe on a Saturday morning, you got nothing to do. You muster up the courage, the motivation, and you go out and clean that room. Your room is spotless and it's awesome. And you feel great, right? That moment of euphoria, the dopamine that's like, wow, you achieved the goal. You said you were gonna clean your room and look at you, you did it. And that's awesome. But what happens next time? In a few days, you realize that your room is just as messy as it was a few days ago. And there's the issue. Now you have to come up with that motivation and that courage or actual action of cleaning your room again. And sometimes finding that motivation again is difficult. You might not have it, or you're too busy, something comes up so you don't have time to clean up, and you just kind of leave it and let it pile up again. And then maybe next weekend, you'll be able to bring up that motivation, that courage, and that mindset to clean your room again. But again, it's just momentary, right? It's just in that one instant. So rather than focusing on the goal and trying to rely on getting the motivation to really bring yourself to action, we should really focus on the systems and being able to maybe prevent your room from becoming that dirty again, where you have to muster up all this motivation in order to just clean it. Why not, set up a process where, every single day after work, when I change from my work clothes to my gym clothes, I'll just fold it and put it in the drawer real quick before I go to the gym. Or after you shower, you immediately put it into your laundry basket instead of just throwing it on the ground. Whatever it is, you come up with it. It has to be a system that works for you. So that's the second point. Now this third point, it really hits home for me because I definitely fell into this trap, and I'll explain it a little bit more in detail. But the idea of setting a goal, the second you set that goal, it kind of limits your happiness, right? So think about this. Say for me in particular, I wanted to start a photography business or a podcasting business or what have you, right? And one of the first goals that I set was, let's get to 1,000 monthly listeners on any of the platforms for my podcast. And so that means like someone has to go into the app, press download, listen to it, and I wanted to get 1,000 people to do that. And I gave myself some arbitrary timeline. I don't know, 6 months or 2 months or 3 months. I don't know what the timeline I made was, but regardless, that's what I set. And the second I set that, my mind immediately turned into, until I'm at that level, I haven't made it. I haven't achieved my goal. And I may not have admitted to it, but it was restricting my happiness, right? Every time that I looked at my monthly listeners or my monthly downloads and it wasn't 1,000, it, kind of brought my mood down a little bit. I was expecting some really good results one week because I did a lot of promotion or I got a lot of people to share it with their friends and family. But then when the week came around and I got my results of the analytics behind my downloads and it was only at like 600 or 650 or what have you, it hurt, right? It made me feel like I was inadequate and that I failed. And so the idea of setting a goal, depending on your own mindset throughout the process, it really could limit your happiness until you achieve that goal. And how many goals have you set that you haven't made or haven't achieved? I've had so many that I haven't achieved, and that means you're limiting yourself from that happiness forever until you achieve it. And if you never achieve it, you'll never attain the happiness that you think you would have felt if you actually achieve that goal. So that's point number 3. Now the last and final point, which I'll put right over here, is the idea that goals, whether it be short-term or long-term, they kind of come into conflict with long-term consistent progress. And you might think that that's a little backwards, like, oh, you're setting a goal, you're planning for the future, you're planning for the long term. But again, we come into this idea of what happens once we attain that goal. So for me, once I did hit 1,000 average monthly listeners to my podcast and I actually hit that goal, what happened was something really weird. I thought that I would be this great podcaster, and I thought that once I hit 1,000, everything would change. I would get reached out to by sponsors or affiliates and be able to meet a bunch of new people and have higher profile individuals come on and share their story and this, that, or the other. But in reality, that goal was just an arbitrary goal that I came up with myself. And after I hit it, after about a day or two of me just really loving it and really feeling accomplished, it faded, right? Because I already attained that goal. And so what did I do? I had to achieve a new goal. So I had to make a new goal. And the new goal was, let's reach 2,000 or 2,500 or 3,000 or 10,000. Whatever it is, you're always wanting more. I was wanting more. And that didn't help because I thought things would change, but nothing did. And I was just doing the same thing over and over again. And I felt like it was more of like a struggle for me to continue on. So the big point that I'm trying to make here is you really have to think about the goals that you're setting, and maybe setting those goals are actually holding you back. So that's the last point that James Clear kind of made at one of the beginning chapters on the issues that he sees with goal setting and maybe trying to find a different method that works for you. Now, to tie all this together, before I share my one tip that's helped me tremendously throughout improving systems and goals, is the idea of, rather than focusing on your goals and refining your goals to make them short-term, quantifiable, attainable, and making sure you have short-terms and then long-term goals and having a balance of both, focus on the process. Fall in love with the process of attaining those goals. I really love this because by doing this and focusing on the process, your systems that are in place to help you attain whatever goal you're reaching, you're enjoying the journey, right? And that's what the cliche thing is. Enjoying the journey, or the path to the journey, is the real fun part, not when you actually achieve your goal or reach the finish line. It's loving the race, loving the grind, loving the process, right? That's what you hear all the time, but we don't really think about it in those terms when we're thinking about ourselves. At least I know I wasn't. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, my one tip that I've been working on these past 6 months that have really helped me kind of move forward with the hobbies that I have and the things I want to do, the people I want to hang out with. The main thing is I've started to work really hard on not judging myself. That I should just continue working and continue enjoying the process and learning and growing. And sometimes I just want to take a break. And there's nothing wrong with that either. I shouldn't judge myself for having to take a break. If I am just really exhausted and just like my mind is flooded with all these thoughts and ideas and all this, maybe just take a personal day. Just take a day off, watch Netflix, go for a run, go for a hike, go, have a drink with a friend, whatever it may be. Everyone deserves a break. Just don't judge yourself. And so that's like the biggest tip that I have right now that's helped me a lot these past 6 months is not judging myself, or judging myself a little bit less than I did the day before, because there's already so much judgment in this world. The last thing that is going to help me grow is judging myself. So cut yourself some slack, give yourself a little break, have a beer, have a cocktail, read a book, go to sleep, do something, relax, and remove judgment from your own mind. And I think that'll help a lot of people, because I've seen what it can do for me, and I can only imagine what it could do for you as well. All right, so there you have it. There are the 4 tips about goal setting and why goal setting might not be the best method for you, and my 1 tip to progressing in my personal development journey, and hopefully yours as well. All right, guys, so I hope this helped in any way, shape, or form, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this, because I know there's so many different ideas about goals, and some people really enjoy setting goals because it gives them something tangible to work towards, and it'll help motivate them for the next step, and that's a wonderful way to look at it. I'm just trying to shed light on a different approach that may or may not help you, but I hope it does, obviously. So I would love to hear your methods and your thoughts on goal setting and how you have been able to create systems and put them in place so that you enjoy the process in order to attain your goals. So let me know what your thoughts are, and can't wait to bring you guys more videos and thoughts that I have. And yeah, that's all I got for today. So all the love, and as always, stay safe, stay you guys. Have a good one.